Okay. I'm going to speak about the so-called Great Satan, Iran. Iran had a democratically elected Prime Minister in 1953, Mogaddash, and he was removed by a coup by the Americans and the British. And after that, the Americans installed their own puppet, Shah of Iran. Then Americans sucked all their wealth using the petrodollar-like scheme, and the Americans sold weapons, right? So they took now if you take Qatar had the biggest military base, American military base in so-called West Asia. When Israel attacked Qatar, Americans disabled all the weapons, the defense system, everything. So all the weapons which are sold to these Sunni leaders by America, they are all controlled. They are all controlled by the American military. So they can't use them. Right? Then when Ayatollah Khomeini came into power, he built up his own weapon system and so forth. Now it is said in Iran they don't use the GPS, they use a Chinese system. So Americans are furious over that. Now Iran has the biggest asset in their country, that is the Houthis in the world, the Houthis. According to Norman Finkelstein, Houthis are the most ethical force in the world. They are materially poor, but in ethics wise they are very rich. So as long as the so-called Satan, Iranians, as long as the Houthis are with the Iranians, it is difficult for the Iranians to lose. And Iranians, the Houthis fought with the Americans for about 2-3 months, and then the Americans left because they didn't want to fight the Houthis. Now when it comes to Venezuela, Americans want to, especially Donald Trump wants to raid the country and take all the entropic capital and wants to give all the contracts to his friends. So, I mean, he has a very different kind of exploitation when it comes to entropic capital, right? And he wants to give all the contracts in Venezuela to his friends. There is no open bidding or anything like that. And if you take the Nobel Prize in Peace, PIECE, it was given to a woman, Machado, who says for the Americans to invade my country, means Venezuela. So this is how how the Western countries reward their podians. They have podians, and podians have to be rewarded, right? So if you want to learn about economics and economics of peace, PIECE, then you have to study this system, how the Western countries use prices to further their exploitation. Now, if you take this Shia, they are considered as, some of these scholars consider Shia as they are heretics. So, heretics are coming into prominence. The Iranians were isolated by the Americans and West and Britain and all these countries, but they are breaking away from the isolation. And now America is getting isolated because of mainly because they are using the dollar as a weapon. And confiscation of the Russian 300 billion Russian assets. So America economy runs, the way I understand it, because the AI. Americans have pumped a lot of money into the AI, and now AI is asking for a bailout. That is socialism for the very rich and capitalism for the poor. Right? So like the banks, AI sector is asking a bailout. The banks got a bailout under Barack Obama. So I think we are going to have a severe change in power in the world after 500 years of Caucasian domination or Western domination. Okay? So there will be the way I understand is the American dollar is going to crash. And if you take what is happening in Ukraine is losing on many fronts, and their people are deserting. The conscripts are deserting in Ukraine. So West is probably losing in many fronts. And as long as the Houthis are with the Iranians, I don't think you can defeat the Iranians. And just as Mandani has become a symbol of resistance, of course his economics are not certain because he has friendship with the Soros family. But Iran will probably replace India because if you take Modi is with the Americans, Modi is with the Israelis because of his Hindu agenda, Hinduata agenda. The Modi is with Israel and America. Although there is a rift between Donald Trump and Modi. Okay? Now, Israel doesn't have, their army, people are not going to battle and they are having some problems as long as they are battle with Palestinians. They are not only with Palestinians, they are battle with Lebanon, they are battle in if you take the so-called fake leader, terrorist leader in Syria, there is friction there. Okay, and if you take this, most of the Sunni leaders, they have indirectly facilitated the killing of the Palestinians. So if Iran comes on top, there will be severe crisis in the leadership with the Sunnis in West Asia. I think they know it. And if you take the Houthis say that MI6, CIA and Saudi Arabia was fomenting trouble in Yemen, and they have unearthed certain terrorist plot, so-called terrorist plot in Yemen. The Houthis are not people who forgive the enemy. So would this mean that the Shia people will come on top, and the Sunnis, which is supposed to be the mainstream Muslim religious orthodoxy become the so-called heretics. Would the whole system turn upside down? There is something to watch in the Sunni political leadership. Okay? And on a side note, there is severe backlash against the BBC. So does it mean that the Western dominance for the last 500 years or a little bit more than 500 years is coming to an end? And even the people who worked with the West, like some of these Sunni leaders, are they at risk? Are there going to be a backlash against these leaders in West Asia? That is something you have to watch, right? And while the Indian leader wants to have good relations with Israel and America, it's also not clear where the Indian leader would be if there is a severe dislocation in the Western economic system. And in the Western economic system, what I understand is they are looking for bailouts, not bail-ins, bailouts, and especially at the AI sector, they need more cash pumped into it. So it's up to the Chinese and the Sunnis to get a partnership and overthrow the system. There's possibility the Chinese are working on that. So I think Iran is considered to be the Satan, and also some Muslim scholars consider Iran as a heretic. Maybe it's the day of the heretics. It's the era of the heretics, and it is possible that countries like Ireland will come on top in a way against Britain, against United Kingdom. And the crisis in BBC is a symbol of the crisis in United Kingdom. So I think we are having a severe change of guard in the Western domination, which I call the hegemonstrism. There is a severe crisis in hegemonstrism. And irony is that leaders in our country still worship the white man, or white woman, or white man. And in leaders in our countries also will suffer. There will be also dislocations in our countries also.